beautiful. And I know I connected with you around some plant medicines as well in the past, plant medicines and different uses in uh, healing and consciousness and ceremonial work.
Hmm.
Do you feel comfortable speaking about that
Let's
a little
go.
bit on here?
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it. Noble warrior,
So,
baby.
yeah. So share a little bit about your experience with plant medicine work and what you do and what you support and also what you believe in around plant medicine work. Like, why is it beneficial? What has been your personal experience with it?
Yeah. So I'll say I was coming at it from the high performance point of view. I was thinking about how can I get more utility, right? How do I go to the next level? And through happenstance, I get to meet the Dalai Lama in close proximity. And then I was in his field essentially. And I felt something that I never felt before, that compassion, that empathy. And then from a pure scientific mind, a rational mind, I had no idea what he was doing. I don't think it was a conscious thing. It was just more of an energetic, felt palpable
Yeah.
thing. And then before I know it, I was weeping from his love, right? And then that was what I brought to my first plant medicine experience. And then that really had me, the visions aside, because everyone's going to have different visions and so on and so on. So I don't think that's so relevant, even though that's what most people want to talk about. Well, what did you see? And this entity, this alien, this ancestor, whatever. I personally don't think that's too relevant. What I'm, again, coming from a utility, practical point of view, how will this help me change my behavior such that I get to live a life of purpose, meaning, fulfillment, right? That's ultimately what I care about. And what I saw in my ceremonial experiences are ways to change my narratives about the reality of my life. Is that landing so far before I
Oh,
keep moving
yeah.
forward?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. So during my first so now I'm describing it, right? So let me share the lessons with you. Within the first 45 minutes of my plant medicine ceremony experience. Now, granted, I've never experienced anything of this at all. I treasure my mind, so I was very cognizant, also cautious about anything that alters my perception, my
Right.
reality. So within first 45 minutes, I was at the edge of the universe. I saw a planet-sized Buddha, right? I was one of the Buddha. So that's a little bit of a vision, but the takeaway lessons that I got was I was so judgmental towards others. No wonder they
Mm,
couldn't feel my compassion. No wonder they don't have an experience of empathy when they're around me. So that there's that, like, oh, no wonder I couldn't, I guess, produce or externalize my compassion because I didn't have it. It was so judgmental, right?
yeah.
But also in that same instant, I turned that focus on me. Like, oh my God, I've been so hard on myself. I've been so judgmental about myself. And no wonder, I constantly beat myself up. And that was the unknown for me, right? I had just had no idea. And that just blew my mind. And then in that same instance, and it wasn't an intellectual thing, it was a visceral, palpable experience that I just started weeping for a few, and then it's a mixture of emotions, right? And the forgiveness, and then gratitude, and then love, because now I'm able to bring that love to the younger version of CK. Like, oh my God, you poor guy, you've been so beaten up by this internal critic. So it was transformative to me in that way, that I got to see different sides of me I never could have seen otherwise. And I'm a much more compassionate, a much more empathetic person as a result of it. So I'm now also able to bring the body, the heart, and the spirit out of it. And then that was just the first 45 minutes.
Right.
In plant medicine, ayahuasca is a 6-hour experience, right? So essentially,
Yeah.
I go through that big experiences 6 different times. And outside of it, I was like, wow, I live a whole lifetime of things I didn't know before. So I'm a huge proponent and advocate for plant medicine, specifically ayahuasca. I'm a huge advocate for that. And it's part of my regular practice as a way to benchmark, right? Where am I actually bullshitting myself, right? Living in illusion versus seeing reality for what it is. And then I can be very systematic about the way I progress as a human being. So there's a lot of different things. I'm happy to take a pause and see wherever you want to go in this direction.
That was so powerful what you shared, because it's so refreshing when I hear other people, the things that I focus on is like you said, how is this going to change my behavior going forward? How is this going to improve my life going forward? Because there's always going to be all kinds of exciting phenomenon to get caught up in, right? But it's so powerful the way you shared, you had this expansive perspective of the universe, these beautiful visions. What did it come down to? Come down to, how am I speaking to myself? How am I critical of myself? How am I critical of others? And then making the choice to be conscious of that and actually shift that. I've said to people, it's like, you can have all the ayahuasca ceremonies you want and see all these beautiful visions, but if you still go home and you're an asshole to your family, it didn't do you any good, right? Or to yourself,
I
right?
mean,
It's like,
don't get me
yeah,
wrong. It's not a silver bullet by all means.
no,
I'm
it's
still
a practice.
right. The so the way I articulate to anyone listening who's even thinking about it, it's definitely not a silver bullet. It's a glimpse to what's possible, and to change the behavior. Some of my clients ask me like, oh my god, CK, I've done ceremonies, let's say 3, 4, or 5 times. Why is this still so hard? Well, you've spent 4 or 5 decades cultivating a habit of self-criticism. Can you expect 3, 4 times of sitting with ceremony or meditation to change 50 years of a habit? That's impossibility, right? So I'm not saying it's going to take as long, but with the intentionality and cultivation and practice, you could change your behavior, but it certainly doesn't change overnight. It is that
Yeah.
awareness, that consciousness that, oh my god, I'm actually being abrasive towards Andrew, or oh my god, I'm so beating myself up. I can then breathe, stop, and then choose a different path.
Yeah, very well put. And that's beautiful the way you spoke about, you had to have the courage to do that first ceremony, right? Where you're like, you want to take care of your mind. You're very careful about doing anything that's altering, right? But I've noticed that as well, as there's that initial fear of like, what if I do this and I'm never the same again? It's like, well, yes, you're going to do this and you're never going to be the same again. That's true. But with the positive intention and held in the right setting with the right practitioners who are very experienced, the way you're not going to be the same again is going to be profoundly beneficial beyond what you can even understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenging piece for people to step into, but it's so liberating once you do it.
Yeah. I mean, I use dating as an analogy quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There is a perfect person for you out of the 7.2 billion people. You just need to find them, right? So similarly to that, right? It's not a way of impossibility, but as a way to, similarly, when you find a facilitator or an experience
Yes.
that is suitable for you, it's also takes a little bit of an interview, a little bit of dating, so you can kind of get the energetic resonance, because this person may have all the credentials, all of the trainings, all of the testimonials, but if you energetically don't fit with this person's style, well, this person is not the right person for you, which is totally okay. And then as long
Yeah.
as you find that person, obviously this is akin to spiritual surgery. So certainly it's about the background. Don't get me wrong. Look at their testimonials and also look at the energetic transmission and the energetic resonance, and then look at all of it.
I say that about coaching as well. It's like You want to hire someone as a personal coach, or if I'm working with someone as an accelerated evolution coach, it's like, we need to be a good fit. I'm not necessarily a great fit to be in a relation. I'm not necessarily a great fit to be in a romantic relationship with them. Same with a coach. Same with a healer. Same with anyone doing this kind of work, just like you're saying. So
Right,
that's an
right.
important thing to remember.
Yeah. So to your point, I'll again use myself as an example, right? If someone wants to just go into the angelic realms and the alien images, I'm not the guy, because that's not where right?
Yeah.
But if someone also wants to just go into the data and then track everything and get so, scientifically driven, and that's okay too. I'm also not that guy. Like, these are all, to me, different data points, but ultimately what I care about is, hey, I'm going to give you some, I'm going to hold up the mirror for you so you remember what your vision is, right? I'm also going to, stand for you when you don't believe in yourself, when when you're in your shit, right? When you're in your shadow, right? That's my role as a coach. And I'm going to do my best to point you to the path that I'm aware of, that's balanced between the esoteric and the scientific, so then you can tactically move forward in your life. That's my approach to coaching.
I also love the way you started what your share with your experience with the Dalai Lama, because I've never been anywhere near his presence in person, but I've taken time to just sit and watch videos of him speaking, because every time I watch him speak, I feel so moved. Like it's not even something that it just happens. I just notice, like, wow, when I listen to him speak, I feel so moved. And for me, what I realized is that he embodies this combination of inner freedom and responsibility at the same time. That I noticed just so beautiful and powerful. And so it was cool to hear how you shared that. That's a natural presence from a spiritually enlightened individual, whatever, there's many different ways we could describe or call that, but then to share that, that's what's possible just in presence alone. And then also what these different types of plant medicines can do for our consciousness to help bring us back into that space and help elevate our own consciousness in that way. I love how you tied that together. Really powerful. And I feel even moved in myself, like even a little bit emotional, like coming up in me as you share that. Hey, thanks for watching this interview. I hope you feel uplifted and inspired by what was shared. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel to make sure that you see all the other awesome videos that we have coming up.